Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to the Social Cycle webinar. My name is Jackie Sinclair. I'm so excited for you guys to be here with me this my afternoon. Not sure what part you are joining me from, but I'm so happy that you're here. I am coming to you live from kind of sunny Northern California, a little bit of a different place than where I usually come live to you from. I had a quick change of plans and I am coming to you live from my parents' house. So I will go ahead and start. I know that your time is valuable and I want to honor the commitment you've made to being here with me today. And I will go ahead and just dive right in and share the screen here. Once you come on, let me know, say hello and tell me where you're coming to view me from. Let me know how your day's going. Let me just get this shared here. Wonderful. Okay. So the social cycle. This is a really awesome model that I have created over the last few years, and I am thrilled to bring it to you live now. I have been holding back a little bit because I wanted to really perfect it before I presented it to my whole audience live, and I wanted to have, all the kinks worked out. So this webinar is about how to expand in your content, getting more posts out of your content, and gaining visibility along the way. So the social cycle is a simplified and easy model to follow, mostly because you're using your content to get more content. I know it sounds kind of like an abstract concept, but when you see it broken down, it's actually very easy and it saves you so much time in the long run. So a few words you'll hear me talk about a lot are content expansion and content repurposing. And these are two of the major pillars within the social cycle foundation on how to build up the social cycle within your business. And then you kind of integrate these two elements in with social media, and that's really what makes up the social cycle. So a little bit about me. For anybody who's just joining or still logging on, my name is Jackie Sinclair. I'm the owner of Go Digital Diva. I started out as a virtual assistant business, and I have morphed and pivoted and transitioned into a more social media trainer and content collaborator. I have gone through the VA world, the social media management world, and now I'm really in a place where I feel that my teaching skills that I have, along with my social media knowledge, really kind of marry up well together, and I can give all of you guys the very best to make your content shine on not just social media, but to your audience in general, in programs, in downloads, incorporating all the elements that I know to help get you through and create these amazing material and content for your audience. So a little bit more about me. I'm born and raised in California. Currently, I reside in Palm Springs with my family. I have 2 sons and 2 dogs and a husband. And I've been doing this for about 5 years. So my background is HR, and then I transitioned into the online realm about 5 years ago. So a little bit about how the social cycle came to be. The backstory of how this developed is I had a number of clients and friends, business colleagues that I work with online and teams come to me with a lot of frustration and just exhaust that they didn't feel like they were getting the visibility they wanted on the platforms. You have to put all your energy into one, and it's, you have this piece of content and it's amazing, but then the next day you have to make another one. And so after hearing this and really working with these people one-on-one, I've realized that there is a simpler way and an easier way to do all of this. So I started playing around with the content expansion piece and kind of just figuring out, okay, how can we take one piece of material that you have and really pull out the gems to offer additional value for the audience. And from there, I kind of tweaked and reconstructed the whole social cycle. And I've really solidified it over the last year with clients. I've been able to see the results of it. I've started teaching on it in groups, and they've seen really awesome results from it. So this, the whole reason why this kind of came to be was I am all about simplicity and ease. And I knew there was a way to offer that visibility on multiple platforms with a very easy model on getting your content there without having to, you know, wake up every morning and create something new to post, because that creation cycle can get really exhausting, and it builds like a burnout in you, and you don't even want to touch social media at that point. So that's where I've come in, and I've helped people kind of get rid of that. I've diminished the anxiety with it, and I've really concentrated on helping them hone in on their material and then putting it out in a very easy manner to all of the platforms. So I want to pause for a moment, and I want to explain to you who the social cycle works for. I have used it with online businesses that are majority coaches. And I want to really emphasize to you all that coaches, online coaches, means business coaches, money mindset coaches, life coaches, spirituality, any kind, health and wellness coaches, any kind of person who is delivering content, value, service in a digital way. This cycle, this model will work for you. It helps to take your content and build it out into bite-sized pieces, and then repurpose them again later and continue to put out that value for your person. So it's a really, it can really be applied to anywhere. It can even be applied to like a brick and mortar place. If you've, as you all know, we've come into a time where social media and online selling have really become the way to get what you need. You can't just go to the store necessarily and grab it anymore. And sometimes it's just such an effort to have to go out and do it, right? Because if you've got all these other things going on. So even as a mom and pop store, you can take this concept and really apply it to your products and services. For my network marketers, this works really good. I have somebody that I've worked with, and I have shown her how to integrate in her lifestyle with blogging along with her products. So it's a really fantastic way to kind of marry the two up, and teaching her, you don't have to separate them. You can bring them together, and it actually makes for a better sale, because you're selling what the result is, not necessarily the means of the product, but what the product can do for you. So by sharing the story of the result of the product is really where you're going to get the attention of your audience or your customer. And then you kind of bring it in as a supporting level of the product. So this works for my network marketers as well. And the reason why this is such a great model to implement into your business is because you yourself can do it. It's a cycle that you can even teach if you have an assistant to do, if they have access to your content and to your social media. Once you have figured out how to do it, or you could have them work with me or learn the cycle, the model on their own, and then utilize it for your business. And it fits in because it really takes that energy and time out of your daily routine on having to post on social media, on having to create a post and sit down. I had a coach that I was working with just recently, and she told me it took her 50 minutes to figure out one post. So I took that post and I gave her about 4 or 5 additional posts to use from that main piece of content. And so from there, now she could fulfill her whole week's worth of posting to social. And if you don't post daily, if you're kind of an every other kind of person, or maybe even every 2 days, then you can really expand your content over a large amount of time. And then you don't have to get that anxiety and that overwhelm that you might feel when you have to sit down, or you're thinking in your head, gosh, I haven't posted in a few days. I should really get on there and do something. Your energy can be better spent somewhere else, showing up for your people, taking one of your posts and explaining the different parts of it, making a video out of it. That's where your time should be, is giving that value to your audience, not figuring out what piece of information you want to share with them and how long ago did you share it? Have you already talked about it? Just stop over analyzing it and just put it out there and show up for your people. And I promise you that it will work. And the results that I've had from clients doing it, they just feel more, their energy is so much more replenished when they show up, and it comes out on the screen. If you have a high vibe going on, your people are going to know, and they're going to feel it, and that's going to make them want to continue to come back. So just remember that when you're thinking about how this can really support you, think about what you can do with the time that you're going to be releasing, because this part is going to cut the time in half that you usually use for content creation and social media planning. So now I want to address these 3 items on the screen right now. These are really the 3 pillars that make up the social cycle. And I want to talk about them a little bit more in depth. So content creation. When we talk about content creation, we're talking about a piece of material that is going to entertain, educate, or just be fun for your audience, for your people. Whether it's a blog or a newsletter, maybe it's a download that they opt in for, maybe it's a full-blown program. It's whatever that piece of material that you're sharing with them is. And the biggest things that come into play with content creation are your who, your how, and your what. And what I really focus in on is unlocking how you build these up in your business, how to really deep dive into each of these categories. So that way, when you go to sit down and you have a piece of content, an idea, which is how content is created, it's based off of an idea, or you want to show how you accomplish something. Once you know your basis on your who, your how, and your what, the creation mode becomes a lot easier. It's super fluid and it's fun. And I don't know about you guys, but a lot of people I work with, the funness of their creating for their content has really gone away. And it's more of an obligation and a chore. And that's why coaches burn out so easily. They don't realize that you're supposed to have fun when you're creating this stuff. The energy that you put into your content, knowing that you're helping your people out, knowing that this is going to change somebody's life possibly, or give them the tools and resources they need to make it to that next level in their business, break through whatever barrier they're working through right now. That's the type of energy that needs to come through in your content. But if you're so burned out and disconnected from your business because you're just done, then that's not going to come through in your content. And that's when your content starts to kind of, you see this decline in it. So when you see that, I want you to take a step back and think about, are you having fun creating it? Do you feel there's an ease to creating it, or are you forcing it? Because if those are yeses, if it's not fun, if you feel forced, then yeah, your content's not going to fare well with your people, because they know when it's not being true to you and your energy. The next thing is social media. So content creation and repurposing are kind of the two main hubs. And then the social media kind of comes down underneath and it integrates in. And I use the word integrate because you are taking your stuff and weaving it into social media. You are creating a social message for your people based on your business mission, based on your values as a business owner, based on what you specialize in. So when we're talking about social media, I like to use it as a kind of an element that comes after the fact. I don't want you to think of social media as the forerunner in this cycle, because it's really not. The piece that stands out in the social cycle is your content. And then you bring your social media in to complement it. And I am one that says, make it, again, you got to keep it easy and you got to keep it simple. And I use schedulers. I know that some people are, every social media manager has a different opinion about this, but I am one that says use the scheduler. These tools have been created to help you, so why not utilize them? They're a fine resource. Your message is still going to get out to those people and they're still going to see it. So why not utilize what you have to save yourself a little bit of time? So once you've got your content ready to go, then you just put it into your social platforms and you schedule it out and it's ready to go. It's set for you. The last piece of this is repurposing. Now, there are people that will specialize in content creation and content repurposing. They like to separate the two because they can be very intense pieces of work. They're two very awesome skill sets to have. And some people really love the creation of content, and some people really love the repurposing of it. This whole thing came out of me learning how to repurpose clients' content because I told them, you need to take 2 weeks off, turn your brain off, and let me just go through what you have, and I will figure it out. And that's what I did. And what I learned was the results of that were amazing. Some of the highest numbers some of my clients have seen were from blogs that they did a year ago, or a recipe they posted a year ago. Well, I took that and some other information that I had found in their library of materials, and I put it out there, and it was amazing. So repurposing can be super powerful. And once you figure out how to do it to where your audience will just absorb it up and love it, the process of it becomes very easy, and the process of it becomes fun again. So it's kind of like, okay, I want to talk about, if you're a money mindset coach, you want to talk about budgeting. Go back into your logs of blogs or your programs, your opt-ins, anything, PowerPoints that you've done. Look at anything that has to do with budgeting and write it all down. Put it into a content notebook. And then from there, build something new from it. I think that you'll be amazed what you can find out from it. Because here's the other thing. What you knew back then and what you know now, or things that have changed in that time period, can often really be beneficial to revisit certain topics within your business. Things that you have now implemented to help you. If you are a spiritual coach, things that you have done over the time of, say, a year that have really elevated what your results in business have been, what your results in your personal life have been because of these new practices that you've implemented. When have you shared it? Or kind of doing a side by side of, I talked about this a year ago and now this is where I am. And the new me got here from starting to do X, Y, and Z. So don't be afraid of utilizing your old content to bring in new elements that you've learned, or to just give a refresher to your audience. A lot of times they want, you have new followers coming in. They want that one-on-one basic stuff. So my motto, what I tell almost everybody, I think, is I like to keep it simple and I like to keep it easy. I've always been one that is cut, clean, professional. I don't do a lot of fluff. I just think that life is a lot better when it's simple and easy. And I think that most people would agree with me on that. So that's kind of how my brain works when I'm doing this stuff. And when I was creating, like I said, when I was creating the social cycle, those were the two words that really stuck out to me that I knew my coaches needed. That's what they needed in their life at that moment. And I know that all coaches or anybody who runs a business would love a system that's simple and easy and that works. So this is it, y'all. So let's go ahead and talk about how the social cycle really works. And I want to take you almost through it like a step-by-step on what it is that I do for clients and what I teach on when I go into like different groups and I do like master classes. So using the social cycle, you can dominate multiple social channels. I'm talking Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, if you want to go on Twitter. I mean, any of the platforms we can work on integrating your content into. And this is the thing. It becomes an automation that you create out of this model. So your posts are going to get created, scheduled, and then they go. So your consistency of posting is also becoming higher. If you're sitting down to do your posts every day, but maybe you don't actually do it because you just don't want to. And you know, as the business owner, your people aren't going to respond to something that they don't feel your entire being is inside of. So it's I have coaches that will just get up and walk away, and I don't post for days because I don't feel anything. So this helps to keep a consistency going, and it's based off of something that you have put your whole heart and soul into. So pulling out the bits and pieces becomes a lot easier. You are then, this is the fun part, you're going to make your videos, and then you're going to take all those links from the posts on social media and the videos, and you're going to create pins for them. And then you're going to upload those into Tailwind, and boom, you've created, I don't know, 20 pins ready to go from one piece of content. And it's you guys, it's just amazing. It's amazing when I teach this in classes or groups, and they start seeing it, and then they start kind of writing it down in their notebooks. So I want you to, while we're going through this, I want you to pull out a notebook, and I want you to start writing down some of this stuff, because I am a huge believer in pen to paper. And I just did this with a group last week, and even the leader, the coach, she was like, holy moly, like I've never actually done it on in real time doing it. And her worksheet was filled with notes, and it just filled my heart to show her how much content is really inside of our brains, you know, how many things that we can really talk to our people about. These are things that we want to share with you, and sometimes we just get hung up on ourselves. So this helps to really kind of brain dump all of those ideas out. So this is the social cycle. And I know lots of people are visual. So for all my visual learners, I got you. This is what's coming up here soon. So here it is, the social cycle. You start with your piece of content, your blog, your article, your quote. Y'all, you could have a theme. So for my health and wellness people, if your theme for the month is hormones, super. Let's get a few posts going from that theme. Tell me what you need your people to know about hormones. Part of what I do with clients is really diving into content. So I will ask them, how does hormones relate to who you're talking to? How does it relate to your service you provide? How does it relate to a program that you have? These are all posts and content pieces that we can utilize. So then from there, we're going to create 2 to 3 posts per platform, right? Now, there's 2 ways of doing this. You can do it where you make your 2 to 3 posts, and then you just copy and paste them to each platform, and maybe you change up their arrangement. So on Monday, you have post number 1 go to Facebook. Wednesday, it goes to Instagram, and Friday, it goes to LinkedIn. I can tell you that I have not seen much of a difference from people copying and pasting and mixing up the days on their social channels. Because the people who are on those different channels, there's so much happening right now. I know my brain doesn't remember if I saw that from a day ago or an hour ago. Because here's the other thing. When you go onto Facebook, don't you hate it when you find something you really like and then say you want to show somebody, and then you go to try to find it again and you're scrolling and scrolling and you can't find it. And then 2 days later, it pops up again in the very front and you're like, I don't even understand. So think about it in that way, that if you're copying and pasting onto the different platforms, it's really not going to make that big of a difference, in my opinion. But you might not like to do that. You might like to really shape each post for the platform. So maybe the Facebook, because your audience might be different. And these are things that you as the business owner, you as the coach know. So maybe on Facebook, you know your crowd's a little older. So maybe the way that you present your content might be a little tweaked, a little different. And on Instagram, maybe you just have a few sentences because you know people come to you for your graphics, for your amazing visuals, and they don't really look at the content caption very much. And then on LinkedIn, whether you're on LinkedIn or not, I say if you're not, you should be. And if you are you active? Because LinkedIn's kind of this left out redheaded stepchild. I have found that when I bring it up to coaches, they're like, oh, no. Like they get very intimidated by it. And you guys, it's really not a thing to be intimidated by at all. I have had a lot of success on LinkedIn. The people on there are different than on Facebook. So if you're not on, go check it out, try it out. If you are on, I challenge you to start posting on LinkedIn to see what kind of traction you get. You get to see the analytics of a post. And it's just kind of an additional platform that you might be able to find people that, like, if you are somebody who works with corporate people, you should definitely be on LinkedIn, because that's kind of what that whole landscape is, right? I've met a number of coaches on LinkedIn that I wouldn't have found on Facebook, and they were very upfront and said, we don't even go on Facebook. So almost their entire business is on LinkedIn. So just as a side note, I don't want to veer off too much. So you have your posts that you've created from your content. Now you're going to make your videos. And this is another place that people tend to get, they're like, oh, no, I don't do video. I don't do video. And before you even say, I'm skipping that, I want to offer you some less intimidating and less fearful options. So I have made videos for many years, but I've never done very many live videos. I find that I am a lot more comfortable doing the pre-recorded videos. And let me tell you something, you guys, it's perfectly fine if that's what you work better on. It's perfectly fine if that is what you do the best thing at. So you make your videos, and you take the videos that you make are going to be from the concept of your content. So if your content is on hormones, circling back to that, you're going to do a video on some themes from hormones and in women, hormones and your body, hormones and your mental health. And you're going to create these mini videos for your audience. And then from there, you're going to collect all of those links, because you're going to then create pins for all of those links. And you schedule those, and then they are able to go out over the week, over 2 weeks, depending on how big your queue is in Tailwind or your scheduler for Pinterest. They might sprinkle out over a whole month. So that's the social cycle in a nutshell, how it works, the different places you go to create all of the content. And I just want to check the time here. All right, we are doing good. Super. Okay, so now let's talk about some examples. So these are some visuals that I have created to show people, one, what you can accomplish using the social cycle, but two, this build your content worksheet. This is what I worked in with a group recently on creating their talking points, their content creation points, really. So I wanted to show you these so you could kind of see how that one piece of content can really transform. So in the corner right here, expanding in your content. This is something that I teach on, which is taking your piece of content, what you just saw the previous slide, the whole cycle. This is creating your posts, depending on your size of content and how wonderful your creative mojo flow is that day. You might be able to grab 4 to 6 posts out of your content, depending on length. If you're doing a recipe, so I had a health coach ask me, well, what happens if I just do, my blogs are all recipes? And I said, great, post the recipe and then talk about each ingredient. Talk about the benefits of the ingredient. Talk about pairing options with that recipe. Is it a side dish? Is it a main dish? Adding in complementary items. So even when you have a little bit of content, we can still build it out into something. So I wanted to show you this graphic so you could see it. And then I kind of put down below from those posts what you're getting. So you have your videos on top of your posts. So your videos are a post as well, right? Because they can go to Facebook, they can go to LinkedIn, they can go on IG, they can go on, if you're a TikToker, if you can do really mini versions of all of those. And I have a client who's on TikTok right now. She's blowing up. She's doing amazing. She just had over 1 million views on a video. Just, she makes my heart so happy. And I'm so proud of her. But that's the power of what you can do, right? And so I wanted to show you, so from that one piece of content right here, you can gather 14 additional items, posts, videos, and that's huge. So if you're, that's 2 weeks of material right there, ready to go. Just pop it in and you're on autopilot. So if you're sitting down once a week or once every other week, and you're carving out maybe an hour or 2 of content, that's it. That's all you have to do. Because then you come in and either you or your VA, or you can hire me. I come in and I pull it all apart and I send it to you for that approval. And then I upload it and that's it. Or you say, you know what? I have no energy this week. Can you just go grab a blog that performed well and repurpose it? Hey, Jackie, can you look at my posts from a year ago? Like, what month are we in? September. Can you look at my August posts from 2019 and see what did well and repurpose those into some posts for this upcoming month? That's the power that you can have with this model. Then the build your content worksheet. This is meant to really dive into your business mission and then creating your pillars, your values within your mission. And then from there, creating your talking points of each pillar, right? And depending on what your business mission is, you might have more, you might have less pillars within there. So again, it's about what works for you. And then this last piece is I created it to show you the power of what can happen on Pinterest. So from one blog, you can have 20 pins ready to go. If you go through and do 4 posts and your videos. And what you do is you go in, you set it up in Canva, it's a template, you just plug and play with different things, and then you can actually schedule out from there if you want to now. A lot of these schedulers have become really robust, so there's a lot of room for movement and adaptability within these to make your life way easier, which I love because that's one of my pillars is ease within business. So then now this is just kind of a breakdown in a verbal sense to how each one of these is followed with the social cycle. So you take your piece of content, you highlight those important excerpts, those one-liners that really, punch that impact to your audience. Maybe there's some quotes in there that you really are in love with. You pull those out, you put those onto another document, or maybe in your blog, you bold them so you can go back and grab them really easily because you already know all the bolded text is what you're going to pull for your additional posts. You create your posts, you prep for your videos, and again, you can do them live because you can record them live and download them, or you can pre-record them and then upload them, which is perfectly fine. And then what I do is I go that following Monday or Tuesday and I grab all of the links that I posted the previous week and I put them on a separate document. And then I utilize those for my pins because I want those. I don't want to be searching for all of the URLs a few days later when I go to do the Pinterest. And some people do it as they go. So they'll post it to Facebook and then they go on that night and they grab that link and they put it in their document. And when I say document, you could easily use like the notes section on your phone, sticky pads on your computer. It doesn't have to be like like an Evernote or a Google Doc. It can be something a lot less grand, I guess, simpler, right? In your notes, you can put them in your notes. My Bible's in my phone notes. I have so much stuff in there. So it's fine. You don't have to use like a new document every time you do this. And then from there, you use your Tailwind or your Pinterest scheduler and you cue your pins and you're off ready to go. So as I was saying before, this is a model that I have created and I am really happy with it because I've seen what it can do. I've seen the results from clients. Just the group I worked in last week, just the excitement that they had about the building your content, getting into that business mission and creating those pillars, just the clarity that came from that was just so validating to know that this is something that works. And this has been the Social Cycle Learning System membership has been on my heart for a really long time. I love teaching and I know I'm good at it. So I created this membership for everybody to take advantage of my brain and what I know and how I can deliver it. And I am presenting it to all of you guys now. It is open, it's available for you. And what we're going to be talking about in there is content creation, and content repurposing, and then learning how to marry them together and bring them onto your social channels, and creating that ease and that simplicity in your business to gain that visibility you're looking for you to get on YouTube finally. And I'm going to show you how to get it all set up. So it's kind of a set it up and you're good to go. And then creating that process that you work through, getting that content nailed down, learning how to bring forth those ideas you have and putting them into a content that can be shared. And then learning how to integrate into all of the social media platforms. So you're not having to go on Facebook and then go on Instagram and then go on LinkedIn and then go on YouTube and then posting your video to IGTV. I'm taking all of that hamster wheel hassle and I'm bringing it and funneling it into one easier process to show you how to set it up. Right now I'm opening the membership up for $19.99 and I feel really confident that I think you guys are going to get a ton of value out of this membership because it's not just about social media. It's about a lot more than that. And you can be really great on social media, but if you don't understand who you're talking to or how to integrate your services and expertise into your content, then you're kind of just floundering around on social media. And you're not, I mean, how many of you have really been able to stabilize on social media without knowing who you're talking to or what it is you want to say? So think about that as well, because that's something I'm going to help work with the group on, and taking the specific different niches, you know, of all the different coaching backgrounds, and showing you that you can get really specific if you want, or you can be a little bit more vague, and you can also mix it up. If you're talking about manifestation, maybe do a post about what is manifestation? What does the definition manifest mean to you? What does it mean in your business? And then you can do another post about more advanced manifesting techniques that you use that have worked for you and for your clients. So just from there, you're kind of grabbing that whole, okay, these are my people that have been following me for a long time, and they know about me and how I work. And then I'm also going to grab these people who might be newer to me, and I want to take them back a few steps, so that way they can really understand me and how my business navigates and what my beliefs are in my system. So I'm going to go ahead and put the link. You're going to get a replay of this, anybody who's tuning in via Zoom. And if you're tuning on through Facebook, then I'm going to be putting a link down below. And it's open, membership is open. We are going to get started pretty quickly now. And on the page, you'll see all the stuff that's included. I'm going to be doing live call trainings, hot seat trainings. I'll be doing, every month will kind of be a deep dive into one of the social platforms, along with some kind of a content-based training. So that way you'll get to see, okay, how does Instagram work on a deeper level? But then also maybe you get to understand how to really focus in on who you're serving in your business, and really dive into your ideal client, what their desires are, what their problems are, how are you going to help them? And we work together as a group to help one another out. But also, I want this space to be a place where you can come and vent and talk about your struggles that you're having, and I will be there to help you out. So it's a group setting, but I am still there helping you on a more disconnected one-on-one basis. But I'll be in the group, and I'm happy to kind of work with you one-on-one to figure out how to best serve your people through what you have. So I'm just so excited about it, and I think that everyone's going to get a lot of joy and value out of it. This is how you keep in touch with me. I'm going to go to the sales page real quick, because I should have added a slide in about that. How do I? There we go. Let's stop sharing for a moment. Hey, everyone. So let me go to the sales page, and I will show you the screen so you can see everything that you're going to be getting from the membership. And that was my bad. I didn't put a slide in about that, y'all. Sorry. Okay, here we go. Let's bring this bad boy up here. Screen share this. Okay. The social cycle learning system. Okay, so here we go. So this is what you can expect within the membership. 2 monthly calls. I'm giving you templates, giving you workflows. So right now I'm working on a ClickUp workflow for this. I want to have workflows for a variety of project management systems, because I know everybody has their preference. So right now you're going to be, when you enroll, over the next few weeks, I'll be introducing workflows to Asana, Trello, ClickUp, and then I'm going to ask for people in the group to give me any other platforms that they would like template on, because I think that that's a huge part of this too, is having a place to know what the next step is and having that workflow ready to go, so that way you can know where you left off and where you have left to go. We're going to talk about content expansion, repurposing, blogging. So blogging is another big one that I don't think people think about as being a pain point, but it really is when you think about blogging. And a lot of people, they'll buy their blogs. It's done for you. They go in and edit it. Those work as well. I really don't see a difference in somebody posting a blog that they create on their own and one that they had bought and kind of customized. So I will be teaching on both ways, how to blog, how to set up your blogs to, again, I have templates for that, to kind of help set you up for success in that area. I want to talk to you about marketing strategies, on creating strategies for your daily kind of business. So we're going to talk content calendars, but then also I'm going to talk about when you go into launch mode, when you're launching a program or you're launching a piece of service that you have, or maybe it's a product for my product sellers. I want to show you how to do that. I have worksheets to help you organize it, but I've had insight to many, many launches. And so I know what good launches look like and what not so good launches look like. And so I want to give you that insight on how to best set yourself up for success when you have something new coming out. And then there's the exclusive Facebook group, of course, where I will be spending a lot of time in. Y'all, this is my place. This is going to be my place to be. So if you want to find me, this is where you have to find me at now. And I will be in there every day, probably for multiple hours a day, just going over things and talking about all the different items that we've got and the different templates that you have to work with, and showing you how to work with them as well, right? And if any of you have seen me in other groups, you know that I pop in with videos all the time and give little mini lessons on how to utilize stuff. So when you sign into the membership, you get access to a lot of templates right off the bat. And so what I'll be doing over the next few weeks is popping into the Facebook group and showing you how to utilize these templates. And then these are the platforms I'm going to be teaching you on, telling you the different features that are available. We're also going to be talking about Facebook groups, how to best utilize them for business as a leader of a group. So if you have a group of your own, but also as a group member, if you're in a bigger group, like say Boss Moms, or one of the bigger groups, utilizing the days that you can for promo, how to make a mark in those groups, adding value to those groups. So when people get recommendations or need recommendations or are asking for referrals, your name is the one that pops up because they have seen you consistently in there posting about a lot of great things. So that's another thing that we're going to talk about. Learning how to take those newsletters, those blogs, those pieces of content and applying them. We're going to work on that alongside all the other things that I just talked about. I'm going to be doing hot seat questions, so I'll be coming on live and answering your questions about really anything content, social media related. It doesn't have to be based on the item that we're learning that month. So this month, starting in September, I'll go ahead and stop sharing now. The major things that we're going to be working on is getting set up in your systems, making sure you have your accounts optimized, making sure that you are public on these channels as well. And then also learning how content is built and how it can best integrate in with social media. So basics, probably the first few months. And I recommend this to anybody who might feel like they don't need the basics, I actually think that taking a refresher course sometimes is a really good idea, because it brings you back, and you might have missed stuff that you thought you already had mastered. It kind of brings you back, and then new things happen, right? New things happen over time. So it's just, it's always a good idea to kind of go back to the one-on-one, and learn from the bottom again, to make sure that you haven't forgotten anything or you're not leaving anything out. So the first few months are going to just be those basic things. And then from there, we're going to build into the more advanced items. And again, I think that this is a fantastic opportunity to anybody who is looking for a system to help them with their content creation. They're repurposing their content, and then building that visibility on all the different platforms. So I did see a question over here that I just wanted to grab. Can copying and pasting the same updates, the same published updates, damage your value? My answer is no. I don't think so. I think that if you have a really good quality piece of content, it doesn't matter which platform it's going out to if it's the same piece, because you're going to bring in eyes in each platform that probably aren't on that other one. And like I said before, the way that the feed works on all of these things, a lot of times you don't really know if you're seeing it for the first time again, or for the, you're like, oh, I think I remember reading this, but maybe it was from the other day. Most of the time people aren't going to know. So I don't think that it's a bad idea to do it. But again, like what I said also earlier, is you are more than welcome to grab the pieces and then edit them as needed. So that way they're a little different for each piece, each platform, and you feel better about it, because ultimately that's what I want. I want you to feel good about what you're putting out as well. Okay, let's see and then one last question here. In the membership, will you be teaching about other items other than just social media? Yes, I will. The membership is an encompassing membership of content, learning how to create content. So your content creation, taking the content or materials that you already have, repurposing them, and then learning how to build onto social media with those. So it's not just a social media membership. You're going to be learning a lot more around what you put on social media, as opposed to just the ins and outs of social media, if that makes sense. So that way you're understanding the full concept of how social media is supposed to work, and what the whole concept of what social media, the foundation of social media was to connect people and create an engaged audience. And part of the social cycle is taking that material that you have and reigniting that engagement, and really putting out those questions that build into a conversation, like the one I talked about earlier with the manifesting. Have you ever asked your audience what they define as manifesting? Have you ever asked your audience how they utilize manifestation in their lives? Because a lot of them might say, I don't know. You might talk about it and they might just kind of glaze over when you talk about it, because they don't understand. So again, taking kind of that step back and building that understanding and that basic knowledge, creating those blocks to then build up onto that advanced level that you're on, can be very helpful to your audience. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up, because I went over way more than I wanted to. And again, I wanted to be really mindful of your time. So I am going to wrap up here. I just want to thank everybody who came and spent this time here with me. I truly appreciate it. Again, I am going to send out the replay of this video if you didn't catch the whole thing, along with the link to sign up for the membership. And then if you're on Facebook, be sure to take a look. I'm going to put the comment below. I'm going to comment the link below, and you are welcome to ask me questions about it. If you get onto the page and you have questions on some of the things you'll be learning, feel free to ask me those questions. I am here for you guys. I'm here for your success. And thank you again for tuning in. And I hope this was informative and that you got a better understanding of how this social cycle works. And even if you don't join the membership, at least you have an understanding of how this works, because I know I talk about it a lot, and some people, they just needed this little webinar on learning how this thing works and taking pieces of it to think about and see if it's the right fit for them. So everyone have a fantastic day, and I will see y'all soon.